Dan Deary, proudly serving the Cedar Valley for 3 generations.
The UNI Panthers back from a road trip at Utah Tech. They fall 20-9. The Panthers are 2-2, head into a bye week and have 2 weeks to get ready for a homecoming game against a top 15 ranked North Dakota team that'll be coming into the Unidome. Let's pack the dome for that one. Coach, you knew it was going to be a tough road trip out to Utah Tech. The 3 teams that they had faced, all top 25 teams, all close games, and you went out there and they were what you figured, tough.
Yeah, they were. I thought, didn't play our best, and part of that is being on the road. Part of that's a night game. Some of those things you can't control that are part of it that you need to be able to overcome. And so that's, I think, as a program, we're trying to figure out how to do that. But I thought, all 3 phases had some bright spots. I think special teams and defense had a lot more bright spots than the offense did. At the end of the day, they got to give them a lot of credit. They played a great game. Both teams were penalized a lot, but both teams, like, if we go back and look at it, it's like, I don't know if that was a penalty or not. So it's a really tight game. Our penalties, unfortunately, were at more critical times than theirs were. But at the end of the day, we just got to put it together. I thought, again, special teams in general did a great job, start to finish. Defensively, for the most part, I thought played pretty well. And I've always thought, hey, if you can hold a team to 20, you can always figure out how to score 21, and we did not do that. Offensively, it feels like kind of like special teams. A couple weeks ago, it felt like we took a couple steps back. Or offensively, man, we gotta look ourselves in the mirror. We gotta figure some things out. Good time to have a bye week.
It was a 1-possession game with just 2 minutes to go in that football game. Coach, the offense fumbled on the first possession, but you mentioned the defense had more strong points. The defense forced a field goal attempt, came away with a stop right away in that football game.
Yeah, what a great response. And that's something we talk about, sudden change opportunities. What's it look like when our backs are against the wall, and it happens sometimes. An offense, turns the ball over, the other team gets great field position where the likelihood of that team scoring goes way up just from where they start that drive. And see the defense not only force a 3 out, no yards. So it was 1st and 10, 2nd and 10, 3rd and 10, and then field goal came out, and then a great rush again. That unit seems to keep showing up as far as getting pressure, and I think when you watch tape and you see that as a kicker, it's hard not to think about making sure that the operation's on point.
The Panthers finally got on the board in the second quarter. UNI took a 6-0 lead. Max Bartacek with a couple of field goals. A career long for him as well, 46 yards in that first half. He finishes the day 3 for 3, and we haven't talked much about Max, but he's gone in there and kind of finding his way as the kicker.
He is, and we were really excited about his potential coming out of spring. And I thought, for whatever reason, we come into camp, he had some injury issues. He's been dealing with kind of a hip thing, and so you could tell that the confidence was starting to waver a little bit with him. In practice, wasn't as consistent as he was in spring. But for him to go 3 for 3, for him to get a career long, and I think that's just, hopefully that helps settle the nerves. Like, hey, I can do this, and we're gonna need him down the stretch for sure. In conference play, a lot of times you're going to be in 1-score games, and all points matter. And so neat to see him get those 3 for 3.
Talking a little defense, Owen Ostrowski, defensive lineman, comes up with his first career interception. I love a good big man interception. And then Ryan Kennan, nearly a safety in his tackle for a loss. He had 1.5 in the football game. That defensive line continues to get strong.
Yeah, I just, the more guys we can play, the more opportunities they have, the fresher they're going to get, and we're going to be able to wear people out. And so, neat seeing those guys make those plays. Anytime a guy can get a tackle for loss, or even better, an interception, that's exciting. That really juiced the sideline. And I thought, man, that was one of the things, was just seeing that happen, and who got it too. Owen's such a great guy, and just the response of his teammates, celebrating with him, like, you can tell the team really respects him too. That was fun.
We have a story coming up on Owen Ostrowski as well. Stay tuned to Panther Sports Talk for that. And then real quick, Coach, a career high in leading the team in tackles. Caleb Frazier, that linebacker position. You got 3 good linebackers there that we've talked about. Caleb really had a great day finding the ball.
He's another one. Just the more he plays, the more comfortable he gets in our system. him, the better he's going to get. And so he's got all the tools. I mean, if you watch him run around, if you watch him jump, if you watch him close on ball carriers, you watch him, finish with physicality. Like, he's got all of those critical factors you look for in a linebacker. And now it's just a matter of comfortability and confidence, and you can tell he's starting to feel it.
All right, more on Panther football all coming up right after this.